So welcome everyone. This is your host Sneha, and on behalf of the entire LMHI Global Community and Colloquium 2021, I welcome you all. The theme of this presentation is Basic, Fundamental and Preclinical Research. And the moderators of this session are Dr. Renu and Dr. Binit. I take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Renu. Dr. Renu is presently working as Assistant Secretary, Department of Technical Education, Government of Haryana, India. She is a former researcher officer in Drug Standardization Section, CCRH, Ministry of Ayush, and having 12 years experience of teaching and research in pharmaceutical sciences and homeopathy. She has published more than 50 papers and 13 books so far. We welcome Dr. Renu, and also we have with us Dr. Binit Kumar Dwivedi. Dr. Binit is PhD in psychochemistry, working as a research officer in chemistry, scientist 3 in DDPR, Central Research Institute of Homeopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. He has more than 15 years of experience in the field of herbal chemistry. He has published more than 20 scientific articles in reputed national and international journals. He is the member of the Indian Society of Analytical Scientists, that is ISAS, Delhi chapter. He is also the reviewer of Journal of Ethan Pharmacology and also the reviewer of the Journal of Advances in Pharmacology and Pharmacy, USA. We once again welcome both the moderators, and now I would request the moderators to take it forward. Over to you.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, and I welcome you all. Since we are waiting for the chair, meanwhile, we'll start our session. They'll join in between. So I'll introduce the theme of the session, that is basic, fundamental, and preclinical research. And we have the tracks in terms of sub-themes are physicochemical and genomic studies of dilutions. So we have total 9 speakers under this track going to be present their work of their scientific development in the terms of homeopathic system of medicines. You will see that the different aspects of science like quantum physics and genomics that the speaker will be going to present. The vast research undertaken for inculcating and the vital aspects of quantum physics, genomic studies, standardization, potentization, spectroscopic studies, dilutions, succussions, dynamizations, and the various aspects and the various physical properties which can affect the homeopathic medicines. So it will be a wonderful session because it is totally based on the scientific development, which will support the data and which will support the homeopathy system of medicine, for which we are somewhere lacking, that we have some less supportive document. So this will fill up all those gaps, and I welcome all the speakers. And I think now I over to you, Sneha. You can invite the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Renu. And without any further ado, let me call upon our first speaker, Dr. Maria Olga, and she is going to present on the topic physical prop, and she is from Switzerland. Dr. Maria, over to you.
Thank you very much. I will now share my screen. Here we go. Okay. Welcome, everybody. I will talk today about the droplet evaporation method and its application in the research on homeopathic dilutions in low dilution range. All the here presented research has been performed in collaboration with Hewert Arzneimittel in Germany, and we have examined components of the of 2 medicines Calmavera and Sinusitis Herbert. So, as an introduction, I would like to say a few words about self-organization. Well, it is a phenomenon which takes place actually everywhere, nearly everywhere. The definition is that it is ability to create organized forms without the help of human. And when you think about the nature, about the world around us, actually it takes place in some scale everywhere, because in a microscopic scale, the atoms are self-organized unities, and in macroscopic scales, solar system and the galaxies are also self-organized units. And we can also invite this phenomenon to take place in our labs, for instance, in an evaporating droplet. And it is a possible way to analyze, for instance, homeopathic dilutions, because this phenomenon acts like a mirror, and it gives us information about let's say, the present moment. And if we perform experiments in the same time and in the same environment, we can be sure that this difference that we observe will be due to the sample we analyze. So the droplet evaporation method is a method that applies the auto-organization in droplets and can be applied to homeopathy. How do we prepare this auto-organized forms?
Wonderful introduction.
We
Welcome you all.
Okay, now we prepare first the dilution. We potentize them by performing succussion strokes in the air, and then we place the droplets on microscope slides. Normally, we perform one verum experiment and parallelly to it a controlled experiment, just to be sure that the experimental system is stable. The microscopic slides with the droplets are placed then inside the evaporation chamber that has constant humidity and temperature conditions. And then droplet by droplet, we analyze all the patterns and we photograph them under a dark field microscope. The images are then run through the image analysis that we perform with the software ImageJ. I will present today the results of 4 experiments. First was a screening of potencies. We wanted just to see what kind of patterns will we get from 19 different substances and potencies of these substances in the range 1 to 6x. Out of this screening, we have chosen 4 substances where we did some differentiation experiments. This is then the experimentation series first. The second series was about the application of succussion strokes, 100, 10, or 0, during the preparation of the homeopathic potencies. And the third experiment concerns complex component homeopathic preparations. So out of the screening, it resulted that mineral potencies versus plant organic potencies create really different patterns, while the mineral potencies create a great variety of patterns, which is related to the molecule, to the molecules and the forces between them to form crystals. The organic potencies create patterns in course of the so-called diffusion limited aggregation, and normally these patterns are randomized fractals, as you can see in the figure below. So just to give you a view of how different these forms can be, these auto-organized forms inside such small droplets. On left side, you can see the mineral potencies, and on the right side, you can see the plant potencies. As you can see, all plant potencies create fractal forms, whereas the mineral potencies create a great variety of different forms. We have chosen to work further with the plant potencies, since fractal forms are very good to evaluate with for their fractality. So we have chosen Echinacea, Baptisia, Luffa, and Spongia. And out of these four potencies, out of these four substances, we created the potencies from 2 to 6x. And now I will show you how these patterns vary visually first in these potencies. So in the second potency, the patterns are really very good to differentiate. You can see that each substance has like its own fingerprint pattern. In the third potency, still these differences were very nicely visible. In the fourth potency, we could differentiate one substance from the other three. And in the fifth and also in the sixth potency, the differentiation was no longer possible. And when we look at the graphs, it looks here like this. This is the Verum experiment, and parallelly to this Verum experiment, we performed also a systematic control experiment where we evaporated only one sample, and we wanted to see if there are no differences. So here the black lines are the results of the systematic control experiments. The second experimentation series concerned the influence of strokes applied during the potentization process. So out of each substance, we prepared 3 variants of potencies. One variant was prepared by the performance of 100 succussion strokes, the second one by the performance of 10 succussion strokes, and the third variant was only slightly mixed with the glass stirrer. And so we had from each of the potencies, you can see here 5 potencies, we had 3 variants from each of these 5 potencies. And we analyzed them by means of the droplet evaporation method. So here, for instance, you can see patterns obtained from Baptisia 3x. And the first pattern at the left side is from a sample that was not succussed. It was only stirred between the potentization steps. And the second, the picture in the middle, was prepared by the application of 10 succussion strokes, and the last one on the right by the application of 100 succussion strokes. So what can be seen is that the succussion strokes in this case reduced the pattern complexity and also the size. So when you have 3 variants, you can obtain following possible outcomes. All samples can differ, all variants can differ from each other, or the succussed variants can differ from the unsuccussed variant, or for instance, one of the succussed variant can differ from the 2 other ones, or we can have no difference between the variants. So here is an example of an outcome from the Verum experiment above and the control experiment below. And we took only, as a result, we took only cases where the Verum experiment gave significance and the control experiment could have, there were no differences between the control groups, as also where in the Verum experiment, the p-value and the f-value of the influence of the succussion strokes indicated a greater significance than the interaction between strokes and day in the two-way ANOVA. Okay, so here you can see the table with all the outcomes. We have the analyzed potencies on the top, and on the side we have the different pattern evaluation parameters we considered. So there are fractal parameters that describe the texture of the structure, as also the gray level distribution. And here you can see, for instance, that LUFA for X, it was the differentiation between all variants was possible for the parameter lacunarity, which is a fractal parameter. And when we look at all the results, we can see that in most cases, 77%, more than 77%, we had a significant difference. And in 22% of cases, a bit more, there was no significance. And mostly, in most cases, we have seen the significance between the unsuccussed and the succussed samples, but no significance between the 10 and 100 times succussed. It was only possible in 3 cases. The third series is actually a new field of homeopathic basic research because it concerns the multi-component homeopathic preparations, complexes of homeopathic preparations. There is almost no basic research running in this area. We have analyzed the complex of 2 potencies, LUFA 4X and Mercurius Biodatus 9X. And as you can remember from our first experimental series, droplet evaporation method is actually able to differentiate between potencies up to the 5X potency. So the potency 9X is far beyond this point. The amount of material in the 9X potency is actually behind the sensitivity, let's say, of the droplet evaporation method. So we wanted to see if in the complex we can see the influence of Mercurius upon LUFA pattern. The experiment looked like that. We had our samples, LUFA and Mercurius, in 4 and 9 potency. We had solvent of LUFA and the solvent of Mercurius. And we prepared mixed samples in the ratio 6:7, which is the ratio used in the medicine sinusitis. And we prepared, well, first we mixed the LUFA and Mercurius. Then we mixed the LUFA and the Mercurius part. We switched with its solvent. And then we did the same just on the opposite. And we had also a control which was composed on the two solvents. Visually, you can see that the patterns differed. There was a big difference between patterns that contain LUFA and those that did not. And however, interesting for us was if there will be a difference between the Mercurius LUFA pattern and the LUFA water pattern, as well as the water Mercurius pattern and the water pattern. Again, we took experiments that in the main experiment showed significances, and in the control experiments there were no significances. And what we could see is that there were clear differences between the LUFA Mercurius and the LUFA without Mercurius, with its solvent, as well as with the other 2 patterns that analyze the influence of Mercurius on the water pattern. As an outlook, we plan to apply deep learning in the pattern evaluation, and we plan also other studies concerning different animal, vegetal, and also mineral substances. Thank you very much for your attention. I will now post two links. Well, I will do it just afterwards into the chat, where you can download our articles. And thank you for your attention. If there are some questions, I would love to answer them.
Thank you, Dr. Maria. Two things before we move forward. Dr. Maria, first of all, thank you once again for being in time. And this is also the request to all the speakers, as we are having this global colloquium, and we would like to have this conference in time. So we can keep a check on the timer. And also, while the question answers session, we may request you to be brief while answering the questions. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Renu.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful presentation. One question, what was your drop evaporation method? What is the procedure for that? How you had evaporated that because alcohol and the drug were be mixed? So what was your procedure in case of drop evaporation method?
Excuse me, but there were some issues with the voice. I couldn't understand actually the first part. Could you repeat?
Yeah. My question is the exact procedure which you had followed for the drop evaporation method. Since the drug are being dissolved in the alcohol, so how did you evaporate it by water bath, or whatever? Which procedure you have followed basically?
Which procedure I have followed? Well, this procedure is very, very simple. We have evaporated droplets of the potencies per se. That means we did not use any reagents, and we only placed the droplets of potencies, potentized in water, not in alcohol, on microscope slides, and we evaporated them, and then a residue is formed then inside the droplet, and this is then analyzed by means of the microscope. I don't know if this answers the question, hopefully.
Another one, in your first experiment series, you took 3 variants, that 100 succussion, 10 succussion, and 0 succussion. And yes. What was, did you take the same in your third experiment series, which was multi-component method?
No, in the in the experiment concerning the complexes, we used only 10 succussion strokes.
Okay. Thank you.
However, to the first question, if you want to read about the whole procedure, I have just posted 2 links in the chat to 2 articles where it's described step by step.
Okay, you followed that article only.
Yes, I placed it in the chat.
Yeah, I've seen, I checked.
Okay.
One is from PubMed and another one is from nature.com, right?
Yes, 2 articles, exactly. One's from homeopathy and one's from scientific journals, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other question?
Thank you.
Dr. Maria, actually you have done a very work. I want one question.
Dr. Binit, I think your bandwidth is a bit low. Dr. Binit, we are not able to hear you at all.
Maybe just not to to take too much time, I can answer also questions in the chat. So if you could write the question.
We shall ask him to write in the chat box.
Yes, this is a good idea.
So thank you, Dr. Maria, thank you, Dr. Renu, and Dr. Binit, he will be having his question in the chat box. So moving to our next speaker, may I request Dr. Ranjit KR from India to present his presentation. Dr. Ranjit, over to you, and request you, sir, to be in time.
The topic of my presentation is the hit catching Raman scattering profiles of the 12C, 30C, and the 200C potencies of the arsenicum album. And my whole presentation, this having this outline of this homeopathic medicines and the sources and the arsenicum album. Nowadays it is used as a prophylaxis in the India for the COVID-19, the pandemic, and the how will we prepare the arsenic album as per the homeopathic pharmacopoeia of India, and the structure of the arsenic trioxide, which we can develop through the softwares, and the method by which we can use the Raman spectroscopy into this, and our discussions and our conclusions. And at first we can say that the homeopathic medicines have so many sources, especially the plant sources, and the vegetable kingdom having all the medicines like pulsatilla, belladonna, and of course our cinchona, and then the animal kingdom like the Ophidia group, the spiral group, and the candas, and so on and so on, and the mineral kingdom having of course our arsenic album, phosphorus, and so on and so on. And the no source, the diseased products like the tuberculum and everything, and the pyrogen, and of course our healthy products like the known as the sarcodes like the lacanine and clostridium and everything, and the energy sources from our whole universe, that is X-rays or the electricity on the sunrise and everything. But our present days actual discussion is with the arsenicum album and the COVID-19, because in India, the Central Council of Research in Homeopathy have recommended this arsenicum album 30 as a use as a prophylaxis in the COVID-19, and our government of India have introduced it also, because according to our method, the COVID-19 have the symptom scenario like this, and the arsenic album have also the similar symptom scenario on the proving on the healthy human beings. So as per our great master Dr. Christian Frederick Samuel Kahneman, we use this as this genus Epidemicus, and so the symptoms are matching. But I will say some controversies are there. Some says that it is have nothing. The arsenic album or the homeopathic medicines, the high potencies have nothing to say. But so we have the challenge to prove that there is something in it. And our team have prepared the arsenic album up to the 200C by the Hahnemanian method, and which is described in our homeopathic pharmacopoeia. And we know that in some studies like this, published in other journals also by the well-known scientists in the IIT, Professor Jayesh Bellare, like that, due to the succussions, they will produce the nanoparticles, and which we got as a mono layer of nanoparticles on the surface, which can be transferred to the next, and that's why the medicines are prepared as the potencies. And by going through the Vesta software also, we can prepare the molecular structure by studying the crystallographic informations, and we prepare this. We can find this arsenicum trioxide, the molecules having this arsenic and oxygen, and there's a supramolecular environment in which the water, alcohol, and glycerin is there. So this arsenicum trioxide molecules having a covalent bonds and a weak bonds, so they are semiconductors. By this way, in the world there is a Raman spectroscopy and this is the most accepted quality control measurement. And being this as the semiconductor material, we can use this for saying there is something in our homeopathic medicine. And the fingerprinting of this arsenicum trioxide is possible by this way, and the molecular marker identification we have done. It is by the vibrational modes and spectral intensity of this produced during this Raman spectroscopy. And what we have done is that we have introduced the 785 nanometer laser trace on it. On that, we have selected the 12C, 30C, and 200C. And we can see that what happened on studying this. This is the picture we got And in some areas, in some domains, the wavelength is having shows their intensity. And I will show the other. I will show these each and every domains. This one thing, and this one another thing, and this one another thing. You can find that what is miraculously what is significant in this, because when the potency is increasing from 12C to 30C and from 30C to 200C, the intensity is increasing, and the intensity is increasing in such a way that we can say that there is something increasing with the potentialization. And another thing, we may got a doubt that if it is due to any alcohol adding or anything like that. But we can find that when we go through other studies, the domain of the alcohol is not this one. This is the domain of this structure only. And we can say that what's happening at there. As a conclusion, we can say that this is due to the compounded structure of the arsenic and trioxide clearly shows that Raman scattering is there, and the inelastic scattering occurs due to the arrangement of the AS2O3 molecules. And it may be possible in supramolecular environment of water, ethanol, biphasic liquid. And the ultra dilutions of the arsenicum possess unique characteristics at nanoscales. And we have to say what is the reason for this one. The reason is that we can say that on imparting this laser on this particular molecules, that is the molecules are further divided, or we can say that the grains are divided, and the number of molecules in each grains will be reduced, and then this rays have got, or the Raman have got more scattering centers. And surely we can say that this change in intensity is directly proportional to the number of Raman scattering centers in unit volume. And of course, we can say that it is due to only one thing, that is none other than our potentialization. So we can clearly say that when the potentialization happens, or when the potencies are increased, the effect of Raman rays is increasing due to his chance to get more and more spaces. So I will say that this is not a final study. It's only a primary or a pilot study. But if the whole world will help us, we can do it with my LM potencies, CM potencies, and with other materials, with other this quality control measures, like other than this Raman spectroscopy, and so many other things. But that needs much more studies and everything. And here, this I am like to conclude only this much, that there is something in the homeopathic medicine, and the effect is increasing with the increase of the potencies. And I will say once more, thank you to this great platform for giving me this opportunity to present this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ranjit, for that wonderful presentation, and most importantly, to be in time. Well, I would request Dr. Renu and Dr. Beneath, if he's there, to have some questions for Dr. Ranjit. Dr. Renu, over to you. Dr. Renu, please unmute yourself.
Dr. Ranjit?
Yeah.
Dr. Beneath, we are once again facing the low bandwidth at your end. Could you please mention your question in the chat box?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Yeah, the question of Bineet sir is he want to ask limit of detection of Raman spectroscopy. So if the speaker can answer the limit of detection.
Can,
Yes,
pardon?
Dr. Rajit, you may
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Can you repeat?
Yeah, the question is the Dr. Bineet wanted to ask
Okay,
the limit of detection.
just a minute, Renu ma'am. Just hold on for one sec. Uh, uh, Technical team, AV team, maybe request you to mute everybody else so that there is no echo because we can hear the echo of, I think, the translations.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Please help us with that so that the question and answer goes seamlessly. All right, Renu, ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Ranjit, the question is what is the limit of detection in case of Raman spectroscopy? Dr. Bineet's question is this.
Okay, actually there we have a team like that. There's some technical teams are there, some scientists are there according team. Can I allow our scientist team to answer, to help to answer?
So you need to connect them.
Yeah. Just a second, sir.
If you need to connect them, you can write your answer in the chat box also.
Yeah, I will give you the answer to the chat box. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Dr. Bineet, you can see the answer in chat box, please.
Okay, no issue. No.
We can't hear
I
you,
am
but
audible.
you can see the screen. At least I guess.
Yes.
Okay. So I think we should move ahead, Dr. Sneha. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So anyway, there are some technical glitches, but I am pretty sure because of the chat box, no questions will remain unanswered. So be rest assured for that. So moving on to our next speaker, Dr. Egidio Galli from Italy. Sir, good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome. Over to you. We request you to kindly share your presentation.
Good morning. Good morning to all. I would like to thank my dear colleagues and I apologize for my poor knowledge of English language. Excuse me.
That's all right, sir. We have the provision. We request you to kindly share the screen.
Yes. My condivision. Is a work with my school, LMHI AFMO in Italy. Is application of omics science in the homeopathic medicine, transcriptomics, and the proteomics on the venom of the Bothrops lanceolatus or jararaca. Far cambiare pagina. Hahnemann tells you the physician duty is the knowledge of the full medicinal power of the remedies organon. It is possible to improve this knowledge by using modern omic science. Genomic transcriptomics and proteomics respectively study of the genetic information, DNA, messenger RNA, and the protein in the cell. This makes it possible to obtain much more complete information of the biological substance being studied and consequently to move from a generalist to an individualized approach to the patients. This is a goal that modern medicine pursues and that homeopathy has always had its essential foundation. A good reference model in the venom is the venom of the snake Bothrops lanceolatus or jararaca, much studied for its wealth of bioactive peptide, already a source of molecules for the first ACE inhibitor and sartans, which revolutionized antihypertensive therapy. An important homeopathic remedy is derived from it, among others, of COVID-19, as it constitutes its anatomopathological simillimum due to exact sharing of the molecular target S2 and TMPRSS2 with the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which are used to penetrate the cell, replicate, and activate systemic thrombotic and inflammatory phenomena. To measure deep sequencing studies of its mRNA library, cited in PubMed, have made it possible to identify through transcriptome analysis many thousands of isoform transcript genes and proteins. One study used the functional genomics coupled with the connectivity map approach by performing a direct search for the biological activities of venom incubated with the human mammary adenocarcinoma cell line, MCF7. RNA extraction and gene expression analysis were performed in order to screen a panel of biosimilar pharmacological activity related to Bothrops jararaca venom. The omics analysis of the poison reveals deep sequencing of its mRNA library is vast therapeutic power, and this corresponds analogically to the action that the homeopathic remedy has at various psychophysical levels and in various pathologies, confirming the value of the homeopathic methodology of using the characteristic totality of the substance to achieve a highly individualized therapy, but with a great spectrum of action due to its complex action on the PNA system. Most of the new pharmacological activities identified were related to antibiotic activity against gram-positive and negative, antiparasitic, Trypanosome, Leishmania, Plasmodium, antiviral activity, treatment of neuropsychiatric disease, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, depression, and epilepsy, treatment of cardiovascular disease, hypertension, heart failure, decompensation, arrhythmias, anti-inflammatory and/or analgesic action, stimulation of beta endorphin, gastroesophageal disease and diabetes, oncological disease, induction of oxidative stress and apoptosis in tumor cell. Component targeting G protein coupled receptor are also present: muscarinic, serotoninergic, histaminergic, dopaminergic, GABA, and adrenergic, and the ion channels with multiple potential action. In the light of these studies, Bothrops lanceolatus reveals itself to be not a small remedy now to date, but a great polycrest to be further experimented with and with broad prospect for clinical application. From this data, it is possible to gain insight into the complexity and characteristic peculiarities of the biological totem of the substance of origin, and this is used in homeopathic medicine for search of the simillimum, starting, however, from objective, measurable, reproducible finding. The result is a scientifically founded justification of the wide range of symptoms treated and treatable by a certain remedy, without pharmacological correlation of interaction with the PNEI system. It is therefore possible to demonstrate the plausibility of law of similars, to broaden the knowledge of the explanation of pathogenetic symptoms derived from classical source and overcoming its limitation. Homeopathic proving, toxicology, and clinical confirmation of remedy, both in acute and chronic condition, contributing to the differential diagnosis between remedies and to the best selection of this individual simillimum. Prediction of possible secondary or dissimilar effector or incorrectly indicated remedy of the symptomatic wall. Possible study of the in vitro and in vivo action of the different remedies, dilution, delamization, and pharmacopraxis method to demonstrate their efficacy and optimize use clinical. With the example of botrops, it is easy to see that a revision of the homeopathic materia medica based on the omics study will be of great interest to widen on and even correct the pathogenesis of remedies, better characterize them, and scientifically justify their wide spectrum of application. This will improve the possibility of an accurate prescription and a differential diagnosis between similar remedies in order to achieve more and more the goal of a precision medicine. It's very important for the future of homeopathy to use a rational and effectively communicable language with the academic medicine. Research is needed to establish a therapeutic continuum between classical ponderal pharmacology, low-dose pharmacology, and homeopathic ultramolecular doses, giving equal value to both the therapeutic law of contraries and the law of similes, in order to achieve together the ideal of single medicine at the service of health. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Once again, wonderful presentation, and thank you for being in time. Well, let me just check if our chairpersons have joined. Dr. Renu can help us with that. Dr. Renu, has our chairpersons for this talk has joined the meeting?
No, I think they are facing some technical problem, like like they are not able to connect. No, till they are not here.
Okay, no problem. So we still have few more sessions to go. We shall still wait for the chairpersons. Meanwhile, I would request Dr. Beneath and Dr. Renu to kindly hold the chair. So Dr. Renu, over to you for the further questions for Dr. Gali. Over to you.
Yeah. Dr. Gali, it's a wonderful presentation as well as it is scary because Bothrops is very scary viper. So my question is, it's a basic question. Where did you procure that raw material or the mother tincture? How did you prepare? Or it was purchased from the marketed sample? Are you able to get my question?
Excuse me, ma'am.
No? Okay, then we will write in the chat box.
Is stop the voice. I don't know.
Okay, then will type in the chat box.
Excuse me.
No problem, Dr. Renu. We shall take up all these questions in the through chat box itself. We have a Q&A specifically. There is a tab mentioned below that is Q&A, so we can utilize that tab very well. Also, I think Dr. Vladimir, he has joined. Dr. Vladimir, may I request you to kindly switch on the camera?
Just a moment, I made it.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for being here.
Well, I suppose that I should switch it off because of too large traffic. I'm afraid that my traffic is not excellent. But I'm here together with you.
That's perfectly fine, sir. Let me take this opportunity to introduce Professor Vladimir. He's the Professor Vice Chairman of the Bioorganic Chemistry Chair. Conference paper, Disperse and Dissipative Nature of Aqueous System, a possible foundation of homeopathy. He is a member of the International Institute of Biophysics in Neuss, Germany, member of SPIE, member of All Russia Biochemical Society, and senior lecturer of several lecture courses for undergraduate students specializing in bioorganic chemistry, virology, and molecular biology. So once again, welcome, sir. And we shall go to our next talk, and then I will request you to have some questions for our speakers.
Thank you very much for introduction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So we shall take up our next speaker. That's Mrs. Geeta Talele from India. Mrs. Geeta, may I request you to share your screen and start with the presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I think, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Very loud and clear, and your presentation is also visible. You may start.
Okay. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'll be talking on standardization of force parameters of potentization. So as you all know, potentization is very unique process in homeopathy medicine, which is a serial dilution, and each dilution is subjected to some kind of mechanical agitation. That may be shaking, that may be trituration or stroke. So how this stroke impact is quantified. So we try to illustrate here the impact of this potentization to show some standardization method or some to quantify it and for the quality and uniformity of homeopathy medicines. So just we will move to next slide. So looking at the history of homeopathy evolution, from 1814 to 1837, potentization is evolved. Vigorous checking was introduced in 1814. The trituration was first time introduced in 1818. The potentization technique introduced by founder Samuel Hahnemann in 1821. The homeopathy medicines were viewed as dynamized or potentized medicine in 1825. The 10-stroke method, which is usually applied on the potencies during potentization process, was introduced in 1837. So from 1814 to 1837, a lot of work has been happened. But what after 1837 to 2021? So there are many methods for potentizations are used during this time. Some are mechanical hand potentizers, some are electrical potentizers, and different type of potentizer are used by different manufacturers. But the quantification or the impact or the force which is imparted on the solution while potentizing this medicine was not calculated, and which we tried here to explain how we can calculate this kind of impact on the solution. So potentization appears to be a process which activates biological activity of a source material through physico-chemical changes generated by a serial application of certain quantum of force. Now, this force parameter, this force can be quantified by standardized potentizer. So we tried to standardize the potentizer machine, and by in terms, we have measured the quantum of force which is applied to at every stroke for every dilution. So if force imparted to one dilution by one manufacturer, by one potentizer machine, if it is not standardized or quantified, we may say that the one similar medicine prepared by one manufacturer may not be equal to the medicine prepared by another manufacturer in terms of imparting the efficacy, because whatever the impact is imparted on the solution is not similar or uniform. And that is the main reason why we need the standardization of this method. So currently we can say that there are certain limitations, because there is a variation in potentization forces, there is variation in quality of medicines, and lack of accuracy and uniformity. And this may be the reason we can see the different, even though there is a one medicine, the clinically it may show different effects. This is because there are certain biophysical interactions or physicochemical interaction which affect the medicine's bioavailability or cell permeability. At the beginning of this session, we saw how 0 stroke, 10 stroke, 100 stroke imparted the effect on the pattern of the medicine, their complexities. So this kind of complexities may alter the cell permeability of your medicine. So from the standardization point of view, I believe we should quantify the impact which is imparted on the solution. So now how we did this? So that can be calculated by considering the different elements of your machine, which usually has a bottle holder, lid to lock the holder, the holder which has certain amount of weight. There is some angle through which that position, the stroke is imparted on the hard surface, and there may be some display, digital display to count the stroke. So our the machine which we have standardized over here has all these components. This can be well explained by this graphical method. You can see the graph or the figure over here, where you can see a bottle holder, where a bottle is within this holder, umbilical bottle. There is one arm which connects this holder to one position, from which this position may be called as a fulcrum in language of physics. So this from this fulcrum, this arm holds this holder and the bottle, and this bottle is then dropped down by this position to the hard surface. So this complete process and the impact of this process can be calculated by deriving some equation, which we have quantified here, the calculation of torque. The torque, that is a moment of force. So here we have considered the different vectors. the R is a displacement vector, F is a force vector, and the magnitude of the cross product of this displacement vector and force vector gives you torque, which can be calculated in terms of figures. So as I said, R is a displacement vector. This is a magnitude of R. Force is F is a force vector. This is a magnitude of force, and the angle here is considered as a theta. In this examples, we considered angle as a 90. Most of the time, this arm drops down from the angle or from the position 90 degree to the surface. So here in this slide, you can see that torque is equal to, for this example, this arm length is considered as 0.55 meter. So 0.55 is multiplied by 73.5. This 73.5 is the magnitude of force, which is calculated by weight of the holder into gravitational acceleration, because we need to take the gravitational acceleration into account, because this is drop down in the direction of gravitation, and hence we get the result as a 40.43 Newton meter. So this is for the one stroke. So accordingly, if you impart 10 strokes, we can calculate the force. That quantum is 404.3 Newton meter. Likewise, for 30 potency, such 30 cycles into 10 strokes, so it will come as a 12,099 Newton meter. Likewise, you can calculate it for 200 potencies, 100 potencies, 500 potencies, or maybe a molar potency. So till now, what if we see the different bottles in the medicine bottles in pharmacies, homeopathy pharmacies, we see the label where it is mentioned what is this medicine, manufacturing date, the manufacturer's detail, and etc. These are all the information provided on the label, but we can bring the uniformity, and from the drug standardization point of view, we may apply this kind of forces on the label. We can mention the forces if your potentizer is standardized in this way. So now, currently, you do not have any information regarding the back potency, information regarding a force parameter, or any potentization method, or potentizer, information on the potentizer. So in a brief, you can write down some information on the bottle, so as to certify your medicine, so as to maintain the quality of your medicine, uniformity, and also in terms of optimizing the efficacy. So here we have one paper published on standardization of potentizing machine and the quantification of impact of potentization. Dr. Rajesh Shah is the author of this. I can share the link of this paper. This is published in IJRH journal, that is Indian Journal of Research in Homeopathy. And I would like to give one key message over here, that there is a lot of scope for collaborative research work, collaborating different physicists, biologists, chemists, and we can come together and explore many unanswered questions in the system of homeopathic medicines. So this kind of, I believe this kind of standardization of medicines and standardization of different parameters will definitely help the homeopathy to uplift. So with this, I submit my presentation. Thank you all for listening me patiently. And thank you LMHI for giving me this opportunity to present today here.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Geeta.
Yeah, any questions?
Vladimir, sir, may we have some questions?
Yeah, I am audible now.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Geeta,
Yes.
I have one question. Can you prepare homeopathic medicine by this machine? And other machine you have to comparative study of efficacy on that.
We have not yet done any this kind of study, but we would like to do it in future.
Well, in your
I
presentation,
believe there is no. I'm a pharmacist. I'm not a BHMS doctor. I'm a pharmacist basically, and I am definitely sure that we may have certain kind of differentiation in the efficacy if we use the different kind of potentizers and see the this kind of studies and do this. This can be done in a clinical setup, or this may be done in some simulation model or some this kind.
have you prepared potentizer machine in your lab or in other industry?
Potentizer machine is prepared by Dr. Rajesh Shah. Yeah, and that machine actually we have standardized, and I have presented this machine's parameter over here.
Then you have to prepare two medicine, one on your potentizer, in other potentizer, like in other industry. Then you can compare the efficacy. Then only you can, because without this, your study is incomplete. Because I think this is a practical work.
Yes, sir, I agree.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. So thank you, Mrs. Geeta, and for that wonderful presentation. We shall move to our next speaker, Professor Prabhakar Dongre from India. Professor Prabhakar, may we have you?
Yes.
May I request you to kindly switch on your camera and share the presentation.
Good morning,
Yes.
good evening, good afternoon. So I'll share my presentation.
Yes, sir.
1 minute. Is it visible, madam?
Yes, it is very clearly visible, sir.
Thank you. First, at the outset, I would like to thank to organizer for giving opportunity to present our work. Actually, I'm not a clinician. I'm a biophysicist and working in the University of Mumbai. And working with, we have one collaboration of Rajesh Shah, that is a director, biosimilar on Life Force Mumbai. So today's presentation is a bathymochromic effect of a potentized sample. It is a spectroscopy study. So it's a small amount of work which we have presented in our laboratory. Yes. You are very well known about this family potentization. This is ultra dilute medicine used in homeopathy, and this medicine prepared by potentization. Dr. Geeta already discussed about the potentization, and the dilution level is beyond the Avogadro's number, and mainly the action of the drug takes place at low level at the living system. This is a uniqueness of this compound or this medicine. So, however, the nature of mode of action of diluted species are yet not explained with a scientific approach. So, therefore, here we study the characterization of the potential sample using some spectroscopic techniques, specifically visible spectroscopy, fluorescence spectroscopy, and Raman spectroscopy. So, based on our this idea, so we frame some objective to understand the biophysical aspects of potential preparation of homeopathic sample using a spectroscopy method, and to predict the possible mechanism or changes in preparation of homeopathic sample at molecular level, which again able to understand things. So now we used here the sulfur pure and potentized sulfur, that is potentially prepared 1C230C, and saccharum lactis as a vehicle, and we used water and ethanol as a material use, and all our agents are analytical grade. So techniques we use here, we use spectroscopy, fluorescence spectroscopy, and Raman spectroscopy. See, the spectroscopy is the most important versatile technique that used in physics, chemistry, and biology. It's provide the linear relationship of absorption and sample concentration. So excitation of sample by EV or spectroscopy or EV or visible light, it promotes the photons at higher energy level and which provide the electronic properties of the sample. Another thing is that this transition energy in spectroscopy can be monitored for the feature of the sample. Another technique like fluorescence spectroscopy, it is one of the very important techniques are used in research in physics, chemistry, biology, and medicine. And this sample studied by the fluorescence intensity, lifetime of fluorescence, energy emitted by fluorescence, or emission energy, or rotation freedom. Some of the important feature of this spectroscopy, when the sample excited at a certain light, so it go to higher energy state. When coming to back, it is some light, and that fluorescence characteristics can be measured. Similarly, we have used Raman spectroscopy for characteristics of sample. The previous speaker already explained something about the this Raman spectroscopy. So this is again based on electric scattering of photon, and it is again quantitative and qualitative measurement. And it provide the structural fingerprint of the sample. So this is the uniqueness of the three techniques, and we have employed three for research. So sample preparation is according to homeopathic pharmacopoeia. So all aware of this. So I will not much go this preparation thing. I just directly I go for result because this is very important. So after preparation of sample, that is 4C to 10C, when we scan under the visible AV visual spectroscopy, we found that the absorption spectra, we get the absorption spectra 320 nanometer of sample. As the potential increases, the lambda max goes on decreasing. Also, so lambda max goes on decreasing, and also fluorescent EV's optical density of the fluorescence also decreasing. So it needs to indicate that the potential sample express that the lambda also decreasing with respect to the intensity with increasing in the potential sample. So it indicates that according to the spectroscope method, it shows that it is a bathochromic effect. Bathochromic effect means it is red shift. If you say this is the 320 lambda max, but if you say as increasing the concentration, that is from 4C to the 10C, so the lambda max that is gone changing, that is a red shift, that is a shifting toward a higher frequency, and intensity also decreasing. So this is known as a bathochromic. So the bathochromic effect, what happen in this spectroscopy, when sample goes in excited state, and when this happen, that is in decrease in lambda max and decrease in optical density, indicate that your sample is much more polarized. So probably in our experiment, when the sample excited by visual light, they become more polarized. More polarized means higher acquire polarization because of the potentiation. Because we are imparting just Geeta has explained the potential precision. We are imparting the energy on the sample, so more polarization maybe takes place, and the polarization we have measured by this. This is the important effect studied with the sample. So these are just I told you. So this is again absorption peak observation which show the hyperchomicity, that is increased absorption with the bathochromic effect. That is a red shift as the potential increase from 4C to 8C. Okay. So the red shift cause that excited state more polar compared to the ground state, so that polar solvent stabilize excited and more than the ground state. This is this could be due to the physicochemical changes in the sample. Physicochemical in the polarity has changed, and because of the polarity, sample has shown the hyperchomicity and red shift effect. Another effect that we have measured the fluorescence study of all the potential sample. Again, what indicate that we have used excitation is 320 because the maximum absorption is 320 nanometer. And if you excite the sample at 320 nanometer, and if you see the emission is found at 345 to 430 nanometer. And in the case, we have studied all the samples 30C, 10C, and 20C. So what happened here? The fluorescent intensity, the lambda max, the energy goes on decreasing. That is, lambda is shifting toward this higher side, intensity also decreasing. So this indicates that there is some change in structures of the material. But if you excite the sample, ethanol and pure sulfur did not show any fluorescence. Because of only polyaromatic sample. When there is a polyaromatic sample, then fluorescence exhibit. But alone ethanol, pure sulfur don't have that kind of nature, that kind of feature. Therefore, they won't show the fluorescence. But in a potential sample, because there may be possibility that form a specific structure, and the specific structure cause the fluorescence phenomenon. So this is the result we have observed in the fluorescence spectroscopy. So that's already explained. This is the phenomena observed here. So decrease in fluorescence noticed in potential sample, that has been all 10C, 20C, and 30C. And however, that 1X, that a potential did not show in fluorescence, both control and test sample. So this decrease in fluorescence, so just I told you, the decrease, the formation, the appearance of fluorescence in a potential sample due to the new structure, very specific new structure from maybe that is a polyaromatic specific structure, because we are not studying exactly what kind of structure form, but there may be polyaromatic structure form. Only the polyaromatic structure gives the fluorescence phenomenon. So that is our finding. So that's I have explained. So this structure, how it's formed, this structure may be due to the amount of energy transferred to the system, that is 404 Newton per meter at per stop, that may be causing the physical change in the material, and they form maybe aromatic type of structure, and they produce the fluorescence. So decreasing fluorescence also known as the quenching phenomena. So now, according to our Raman spectroscopy, if you see that the pure, if you study the Raman spectroscopy, the pure sulfur shows actually 32 band of 32, 165, 23, 22, 26 or 44 and 42. Means pure sulfur shows the Raman band, but if you see the same sample under the condition of potentiation, so there is a decrease in peak at this, but all are disappear. So they miss the disappearance of peak takes place. So this disappearance of the peak could be due to there is some change in electric configuration of sulfur. There may be energy when transport to this potential energy transport to the sulfur. There may be some electric configuration, and this configuration not showing here. So there is no peak observed in potential sample. So this is our one observation. Again, we study. Study the comparison of control and potential sample, that is 4 intensity of the sulfur region. Again, there is a variation in control and potential sample was observed in sulfur region. So indicating that again there is a electronic configuration change of sulfur material. Again, if comparison of control and potential sample of 4C to 10C of pure ethanol region. So what happened here? Increase in intensity and slight broadening of the peak, Raman peak, ethanol band in the potential sample happen. So this may be due to some change in electronic configuration of the sample. So conclusion is that AV spectroscopy observation indicated change in structural physicochemical property in potential sample, and fluorescence spectroscopy results showed appearance in fluorescence property in ethanol water mixture may be due to the formation of new cluster in molecule. The decrease in fluorescence intensity could be due to the structural changes in molecule due to the transfer of mechanical energy during potentiation. Raman spectra shows a significant change in the potentized sulfur preparation, where a few peaks have disappeared with a few major shifts indicating change in the electronic configuration of pure sulfur. So there is increase in the intensity and a small peak broadening or Raman spectra of potentized sulfur sample in comparison to the control, indicating surface bond contraction and the quantum confinement. So there is increase in intensity, small peak and broadening Raman spectra of potential sulfur sample comparison to the control, indicating surface bond contraction, this quantum efficacy. So overall, the action of homeopathic samples at low concentration could be due to the structural change due to potential, because in biology there is a very strong correlation, structure and function of material. If there is change in structure of material, there is change of function of the material. Therefore, we try to understand by all this technique whether there is a change in structure of the sample due to potentization. That we have studied this spectroscopy, and this has been published in Romanian Journal of Biophysics in recent year, in 2021. So this the financial support by the Life Force Trust Mumbai, and one of my students, Dr. Priyanka, he helped for this in this sample. Thank you very much for listening. Hello.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that presentation, Professor Prabhakar Dongre. Do we have any questions for Dr. Dongre?
May I ask a question?
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you very much for very interesting presentation. I have a question. How long the changes in the potencies stay after its preparation? For example, this batachromic effect. So you made a high potency, and how long you can observe its changed properties in comparison to the original spectrum?
Yes, very good, sir. Actually, after preparation of the sample, even after, actually we have studied after 8 days. We have not studied actually a month or even several months, but after getting the sample from this laboratory, this Life Force laboratory, and we studied after 8 days, we find such kind of changes in sample, but we have not studied long term whether the change is same or not. But it's a very good suggestion. Definitely, we will see that whether that change can be restored or not. Long time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other question for Dr. Prabhakar? All right. So, yeah.
Shall I stop sharing?
Yes, yes, sir. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And we shall move to our next speaker, Dr. Ashish Kumar Jaiswal from India. Dr. Ashish, maybe you have on the screen, and request you to kindly share the presentation. All right. I think Dr. Ashish is facing some technical issues. So we shall move to our next speaker, Dr. Bruno Galeazzi from Italy, and he will be presenting on the topic quantum physics theory. So Dr. Bruno?
Thank you. I wish to thank the organizers for accepting our presentation and thanking the moderators. And hello to everybody. So try to share my presentation. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So this presentation has been written by me, a clinician, and by Antonio, that is a physicist. So the more technical part, of course, belong to him. So outline, we are going to talk about quantum field theory, just very short, symmetry breakings, Nambu-Goldstone bosons, and then going to coherence in living systems, health and disease in the light of the concepts mentioned above, and then at the end, we get to the homeopathic medicine interacting with living systems. So quantum field theory is the theory that describes the ultimate fundamental laws of nature, and which are expressed in terms of fields, matter fields like electrons and other particles, and force or interaction fields like photons. And so the whole world that we observe is ultimately a manifestation of this underlying quantum field stuff. So any other theory explaining nature is in some way an effective theory, like chemistry is an effective theory at the molecular level, but at the fundamental level, everything is governed by QFT laws. And as complexity increases, collective phenomena emerge, as we shall see So the question, the main question in the homeopathic community and out in the scientific community is about the mechanism of action of homeopathic medicine, as it's the most debated topic. And there are two most debated hypotheses that seem to be irreconcilable. The homeopathic medicines are carrier of information stored in coherent domains of water, or material nanoparticles that interact with receptors in accordance with biochemical rules and hermetic dynamics. So we shall jump beyond the nanoparticles and hormesis, and we go to the coherent domains. We wrote an article in published in Homeopathy in 219 about explaining homeopathy with quantum electrodynamics, and writing that article, we reviewed the hypothesis of quantum coherent domains of water and the long path of theoretical investigation started by Froelich and culminated by with the works of the late Giuliano Preparata and Emilio Del Giudice. And so there is some criticism that anyway weakens this position, like coherence in bulk water is estimated to last only a few femtoseconds, and how could the coherent domains interact with dynamics of the organism if the organism works according to biochemical receptors? So quantum coherence actually is a very well-established phenomenon in nature, and coherence phenomena are quite general characteristics and can be found in the physics of elementary particles, condensed matter, cosmology, and biological systems. Quantum coherence in nature, so quantum implication in coherence phenomena are well explained by the QFT. And coherence emerges from the information generated by symmetry breakings. And now we are going to see what these things mean. So first of all, the concept of symmetry breaking. We see on the top a drop of water, and beyond we see a snowflake. And we usually think that the snowflake is more symmetrical than the drop of water. Actually, it's the opposite. It's counterintuitive. So the drop of water is symmetrical because it's invariant. Any version or transformation, you rotate it, it's invariant, so it's symmetrical. If there's a symmetry breaking, then you get to the snowflake. So symmetry and symmetry breaking are, in a sense, the two faces of the same coin. Symmetry of a given order can be seen as the result of higher order symmetry being broken to a lower order symmetry. Examples, very simple examples of symmetry breaking on the crowd of people is more symmetrical than the ordered queues of people with the yellow jacket. So it has happened a symmetry breaking from the crowd to the queue. And another example of symmetry breaking, of course, a macroscopic symmetry breaking, we can get when we examine embryology. When we start from the fertile ovule, and then they divide, every division is a symmetry breaking. And so again and again, these symmetry breakings happen toward the whole individual is formed. What happens with the symmetry breakings that Nambu-Goldstone bosons are generated? Nambu-Goldstone bosons are scalar bosons that appear necessarily in models exhibiting spontaneous breakdown of symmetries. They are massless quasi-particle, and I don't just stop on this more physical aspect, but I go far around. So in QFT, the specific ordering information of coherent structures are named Nambu-Goldstone bosons. Nambu-Goldstone bosons characterized by the fact that any physical state of a system can contain an unlimited number of them because they are massless quasi-particles. So they can pile up. So accumulation of Nambu-Goldstone bosons still generates a state of minimum energy, a condensed state. We could have an infinity of those condensation piling up as the quantity of information stored in a body. Actually, Emilio Del Giudice already wrote about the symmetry breakdown and boson condensation. It was in 1983, so it's not a novel concept referred in biology. So symmetry breakdown are responsible for the emergence of multi-level coherence in living organisms, expression of a balanced competition between the gauge and Nambu-Goldstone bosons. The gauge bosons are those that we see in the orange part of the screen. So the photon, for example, is, I would say, one of the most important, and then the zeta and W boson also. And the Nambu-Goldstone bosons actually are not in the standard model of elementary particles because they are not particles, they are quasi-particles. But we could just place this is the clinician error that puts in the standard model. It's not in the standard model, the Nambu-Goldstone boson, but just to say they are scalar bosons, they are massless, and there's an interaction between photons, electromagnetic field, therefore, and these Nambu-Goldstone bosons. And the balanced competition of bosonic fields across all the organisms allows life to couple with the environment at several levels up to the quantum one. There are very interesting works written by the physicist, Professor Vitiello. One of the best works is My Double Unveiled, that I invite those interested to read. So quantum coherence in nature, in general, a finite system within edges can stay in a mixture of two phases, a coherent order phase made up of coherence domains and the non-coherent disorder or symmetrical phase, which is interposed between the domains, interstitials. So you see the picture, this differentiation between the coherent domains that are in the circles and the interstitial phase of water that is between the circles. So if we go into the macroscopic world of biology, as a clinician, then we can try to transpose this concept and see the disease as the result of a symmetry breaking on a macroscopic level and the transition towards a state with different lower symmetry coherence. The organism loses adaptive capacity because it has less degrees of freedom in their reactive patterns. If the pathological status persists over time, information emerged by the symmetry breaking, so the Nambu-Goldstone bosons can acquire physical characteristics capable to induce physical modification in the organisms. These are, behind these, there are many technicalities that my friend Antonio could be much more able than myself to explain in details, but this is just very roughly. So why doesn't, okay. So the working hypothesis is that homeopathic medicine could embed the coherent information of the original substance in terms of Nambu-Goldstone bosons, produced through symmetry breakings during the dilution dynamization process. Homeopathic medicine could store the image. We as clinicians, homeopathic clinicians, are used to work with this image of the remedy, image of the patient. And so bridging the concepts of physics and clinics, I think that we can merge this. And so the homeopathic medicine could store the image with specific ordering characteristics mediated by Nambu-Goldstone bosons of the original substance, and mirror the image of the disease expressed by the signs and symptoms of the sick that originate from the condensation of Nambu-Goldstone bosons generated from symmetry breakings of the organism reaction to stimuli. The healing response could be elicited by the non-local dynamics activated by the in-phase matching of the homeopathic medicines and organisms Nambu-Gostam bosonic fields. So what is our working hypothesis? That everything happens in between the interaction of the bosonic, Nambu-Gostam bosonic fields of the homeopathic remedy and the organisms. So just to finish, what is already known, the mechanism of action of the homeopathic medicines hasn't been explained yet. Two hypotheses, coherence domains of water and nanoparticles. Both hypotheses have some strong and weak aspects when confronted with experimental and clinical data. What this presentation adds or tries to add, a memory of water, as it is usually understood, is wrong and misleading definition. Symmetry breakings generate Nambu-Gostam bosons that have ordering characteristics. So of course, this also happens in water or the dilute water and nanoparticles altogether. But we must add these concepts of symmetry breakings and Nambu-Gostam bosons, because the Nambu-Gostam bosons add the possibility of storing and information and not going away in just few femtoseconds. Long-lasting coherent patterns of information can be stored both in the homeopathic medicines and in living systems, thanks to the Nambu-Gostam boson condensations. In-phase interactions between coherent domains of homeopathic medicines and living systems trigger the rearrangement of the dynamics of the systems, and so gaining again the optimal level of symmetry of the dynamics. So as I told you before, for the more technical aspects like quantum field theory and Nambu-Gostam boson and going to the details and the formulas and so on, please contact Antonio, my friend, and he will be glad to answer about the most technical details. So thank you very much. Hello.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Bruno. It was a wonderful presentation. Though many people had worked on that water memory, and somehow they have reached to some awards also, but now you have given a straightforward statement that it was a wrong.
No, it's just an incomplete. It's incomplete.
Yeah,
Water alone is not capable of memory, but if you add the Nambu-Gostam bosons, then it's the more complete theory. Yeah, I'm a supporter of what we call water memory, but it's better we add some more information. Otherwise, water memory alone is not enough. Just
correct. You want to add some scientific support to that water memory word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I would request Dr. Vladimir if you would could ask some questions.
Yeah.
So
thank you very much for a really very interesting lecture, Dr. Galazi. And I was a good friend of Professor Emilio Del Giudice, and it reminded your lecture of my contacts with him. And so my question is, of course, you know that there are some examples when there is action at a distance of homeopathic remedies or some other highly diluted solutions on other solutions. Can your hypothesis or theory explain such a phenomenon, action at a distance?
But, well, actually, Professor, could you please just add a bit more about what you mean about action at a distance?
For example, I mean experiments. There are many experiments like this. I mean experiments of Luc Montagnier, Nobel Prize winner, who has shown that his highly diluted solutions and potentized solutions of DNA can give information about this DNA to a test tube, which is at a distance from the test tube containing this highly diluted DNA. This is one of the examples. There are a lot of them.
Well, of course, this is a very technical question, and I'm sure that Antonio, my friend, will be much more able than me, and I invite you, Professor, please just write to him. Anyway, I remember Professor De Giudice, that it was given the hypothesis that the coupling was made between the void, the quantum void, and that was one of the possibilities, that the quantum void was the place where everything can match, even between very distant places. But I'm a clinician, I'm not a physician, a physicist. And so
probably, if you don't mind, I'll add one tip. All these domains, they are not static, they are dynamic structures. And that means that they are both receptors and sources of resonant electromagnetic fields. And these resonant electromagnetic fields may propagate to very long distances, and by principle of resonance induce some changes in liquids which are not connected to them directly.
Yes, sure. Yes, thank you. Of course, I agree with you, and you are the right person to explain perfectly. But actually, this phenomena also, this is something that I also I'm observing in the clinical setting, because I also do some experiments with this kind of non-local effect. So I'm quite confident with the clinical aspects and the clinical validity of what happens. And thank you, Professor, for telling what is behind. But of course, I'm not the right person. Antonio would be the right person to interact at the right level with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vladimir and Dr. Bruno, for being there and for that wonderful interaction. Do we have any further questions? All right, so let's move to our next presenter, Dr. Sivaramya Pragapati. Dr. Sivaramya Pragati from India. Doctor, may we have you on the screen, please, and request you to kindly share the presentation.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I'll share my presentation here.
Yes, please.
So
yes, the presentation is visible, ma'am. You may please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So warm greetings to one and all present over here. So I'm going to tell about them. Homeopathic culture media that is useful to grow a cyanobacteria. Okay, in cyanobacteria means it is an photoautotrophs. That means these are the prokaryotes. These are the first ever organism formed on the earth, and what we breathe, the oxygen, is replaced and released by the photosynthesis process of this particular cyanobacteria in the history of our earth formation. Okay, so let us move into a topic that is an experimental study on the growth of Spirulina plantensis with dynamized homeopathic medicines for the quantitative and qualitative enhancement. So I'm Dr. Sivaramya Pragati, Department of Pediatrics, Sharda Krishna Homeopathic Medical College. So about the introduction, so Spirulina plantensis, as I already said, it is a cyanobacterium, and it is a symbiotic single-celled filamentous, then it is a motile, then it is a blue-green algae. It's rich in macro and micronutrients too. So botanist term, it is a microalgae, but the bacteriologists categorize it into a cyanobacterium. That's why I given these two names here. Okay, it is a rich amount of, it has rich amount of proteins, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and it has an excellent anti-inflammatory and anti-tumor and antiviral effects. So it is used as a complementary dietary ingredient for the fish, shrimp, plants, poultry, etc. So it is also famously called as poor man's heart. Heart means highly active antiretroviral therapy. That is, it is a treatment methodology that is used for the HIV patient. So it is helps to increase the CD4 cell count. And the National Aeronautical and Space Administration has coined the term. The spirulina is the best food because the space travelers used to take an iron tablet while they travel to the space. But this particular spirulina contains 60 times more iron content than the conventional iron capsules taken by the space travelers. So about the background of the study, so here I'm gonna exclude the chemicals that are used for the growth of spirulina plantensis. Instead, I'm going to administer the same chemicals, but in a potentized homeopathic form. Okay. So these changes are going to happen in a standard RM6 culture media. Okay. Here, according to our need, this particular culture media is changed. Okay. Then here, the amalgamation of the two distinct fields. So entirely different fields, these two are, that is homeopathy and cyanobacteriology. So this will unite here. And I coined the term that is cyno-homeopathy for this particular new idea of cultivating the spirulina. So need for the study. Several controversies are going on, as our previous speakers were told many things about this. So regarding the potentization theory and placebo effect. Okay. Then this particular research will give, I hope this particular research will give some sustainable evidence for the potentization theory. Then no one can tell this is a placebo medicine, though. So homeopathy is no longer a placebo medicine, I hope. Then cyanobacteriological view. So usually this particular spirulina is cultivated with the help of some chemicals that leads to a heavy metal contamination, and that leads to food toxicity and side effects and all. This is the first point. Then the cost for harvesting the spirulina is usually higher. We can get that cost lower, but by this new method. Then people below poverty line can also afford this particular food, because every year we are facing so many protein, energy, malnutrition, death rate, and under 5 death rate. These are increasing day by day. But this particular amount reduced means we can afford this to the poor and needy. Okay, as we know that extreme poverty is 1.9 billion in 1990, but 650 million in 2018. It is increasing year by year, and we can reduce the death due to PEM, that is protein, energy, malnutrition. So aims and objectives. Aims to compare the quantitative and qualitative changes among the standard culture media and homeopathic medicine used culture media. Then point 2, to compare the effectiveness among the different homeopathic ultra dilutions, because I'm using different homeopathic dilutions and potencies. That's why I mentioned this. Then objectives, to grow the cost-effective spirulina. Then only we can afford the poor and needy. So point 2, to harvest a contaminant-free spirulina. So methodology. First thing is preparation of culture media. So distilled water was taken, and the RM6 culture media is a standard culture media that was used by the Indian cyanobacteriologist, that is popularly known as LMHI, that was taken as a positive control here. And here, this side, the distilled water is mixed with NaOH plus NaHCO3 to make the water into an alkaline pH, because spirulina usually grows in an alkaline medium. Okay, so that's why I added this particular chemicals to make this particular media into alkaline. So then I taken a supplying alkaline water as a negative control, and this side, the part 2, is divided into 3 subsets. Here I added the below mentioned remedies in a 6C, 12C and 30C. All the 6C are combined in a one flask, and all the 12C in another, and 30C in another. So these medicines that I used was magnesium sulfuricum, phosphorus, selenium metallicum, natrium muriaticum, calcareum muriaticum, Kalium muriaticum, and Natrum nitricum. Why I choose these medicines is I'll explain that later. Okay. Substitute medicines for the RM6 culture media. Here, the contents of the RM6 culture media is mentioned. Here, the corresponding medicines that I use is mentioned here. Okay. The single superphosphate is replaced with phosphorus. Then sodium nitrate is replaced with natrium nitricum. Then potassium chloride is replaced with kalium muriaticum. Then sodium chloride is replaced with natrium muriaticum. Then magnesium sulfate as magnesium sulfuricum, and calcium chloride as calcareum muriaticum. And sodium bicarbonate is not replaced, and it is used to make the water in an alkaline pH. That's why I didn't replace this. So this is a methodology. Day 1, the positive control, negative control, and then alkaline 6C, 12C, and 30C was prepared. And day 2, the inoculation of mother spirodina. 1 ml of mother spirodina was inoculated uniformly throughout the sets. Then after a month, the entire set was filtered out and the samples were dried up and then assessed for the final yield. Final yield is divided into 2 groups of assessment, that is qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative is weighing the final yield, and quantitative is it's a chlorophyll content and protein content was analyzed. And in between, the antibacterial activity is also assessed by the disc diffusion method, and zone of inhibition is also measured here. The methodology, collection of medicines, chemicals, and mother spirodina. Medicines were collected from the same company in order to avoid the bias, and preparation of culture media. Then medicine was added. Then mother spirodina was inoculated. Then after a period of observations and periodically assess the growth of the particular samples by optical density and biomass. Then after a month, filtration was done. Then observations and results. So pH was monitored periodically in order to maintain the alkaline pH. So optical density is also assessed periodically. That means 3 times I assessed these and all things. Then microscopic analysis of the sample was done. After that only the final level of assessment was done. So here I want to emphasize 3 things. If the law of nature are proclaimed are true, then it can be applied in all living beings. That is said by our master Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. So here the law of nature is true means we can apply the law of nature to all living organisms, even to the single cell organisms. So the parameters were analyzed: the optical density, the biomass, and the zone of optical density, biomass, and the antibacterial activity, and finally chlorophyll and proteins. Then this is the antibacterial activity assessed by me, the zone of inhibition that we can see here in the first picture. Then the antibacterial activity results. So RM6 culture media, that is a standard culture media used by the cyanobacteriologists, that is sensitive to the Bacillus subtilis organism. Then the alkaline 6C, that is entirely filled with homeopathic medicines. And 12C and 30C, these 3 are uniformly sensitive to the Bacillus subtilis and Proteus vulgaris. Then growth at different time interval, that is OD calculated at, that is optical density is calculated at 560 nanometer. So through this we can assess the growth of the different culture media. Here the RM6 culture media shows the peak, and second is the alkaline 6C. Then biomass was calculated at different time interval. The cell count was high in RM6 control, as same as earlier. Then alkaline 6C is the second most. Then this is some main parameters that I analyzed, that is final yield, chlorophyll, and proteins. Final yield is highest in RM6 culture media, and next to that is alkaline 30C. But the chlorophyll and protein contents is slightly changed. The chlorophyll was assessed by the acetone method. Here the chlorophyll is highest in alkaline 12C, then alkaline 6C. The protein content, proteins are the main source of spirulina, that is highest in alkaline 6C, and then next second highest in alkaline 30C. Then our statistical analysis was done by using one-way ANOVA method, that's analysis of variance, and it is significant at 1%. Then conclusion, the homeopathic medicines were the potent to stimulate a single cell organism. That's what I want to conclude here. Then this is a fundamental research to enhance the growth of spirulina like single cell protein, that is SCP. Then I want to mention a quote regarding Dr. H.A. Roberts. The biological response is produced by a chemical reaction between the drug and cell constituent. This is how a homeopathic medicine is working. This was mentioned in the book written by Dr. H.A. Roberts. And second quote, most potent force in the world of medicine is potentized theory. I hope you all accept these words. We can find the vital force in all living creatures. The greater the divisibility of the elements, that is a potentization theory, the greater the divisibility of the elements, the more they exhibit the possibility of permeability by vital energy. This is also mentioned by Dr. H.A. Roberts. And future prospects. So this is a basic research, as I said earlier. So it gives an idea about we can synthesize these kind of culture media for the cost-effective growth of a spirulina like protein-rich supplements. Then it can apply to many algae varieties. Many useful algae can be grown with the help of this, because many algae can be able to give a renewable energy sources. This helps to convert an electrical energy into it can create an electrical energy from the sunlight, and it is easily able to produce a diesel, biogas, etc. So in future yet, we can able to create so many resources from this particular cyanobacteria, and it can reduce the cost of algae cultivation. And here we can use various homeopathic dilutions in different potencies and different quantities. Actually, I use a drop of medicine alone, because it is an experimental study. So I experiment with a drop of medicine. We don't know what will happen if we add more medicines, or we can use 1 m or 50 m and all. So we have to see that changes too. So any doubts?
So thank you, Doctor, for that wonderful presentation. Due to paucity of time, we shall be able to take only one question, and I request you to be brief in your answer. So do we have one question for Dr.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
Can she analyze protein content in both samples?
Yes, sir. I analyzed in all the samples.
And what method you are using for
I
protein
use the
analysis?
Lorry's method to analyze the proteins.
Because I have also worked in spirulina plant. I have
Okay.
taken OD and doing by Geldal method, I calculate the protein.
Okay, sir.
So that's why I am asking. Your work is very good. I think
Thank you so much.
it's good for homeopathy.
Yes, sir. Yes, I hope that.
We think it over
In
because
future, we can work together.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Binit and Dr. Pragati, for answering that question and being brief. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We shall now request our next speaker. He is the last speaker of this theme. So Dr. Novosadyuk Tatiana Vladimirovna. Sir, please excuse me if I haven't taken your name correctly, but over to you. So sir has already shared the screen.
Next one, about the description of the method. The sample of every homeopathic dilution was intensively shaken prior to test. Then a drop, 1 and 2 in the picture, was placed on the object glass, 3, and covered by cover glass, 4 to 6. Then a drop of black ink, 7, was underlaid, and the remains were removed by a piece of absorbent paper. Next one, please. Next one, please. The technical part of the work to obtain media files of Brownian motion of ink particles was performed in cooperation with the specialists of LOMA Microsystems of the Leningrad Optical Mechanical Association, LOMA, St. Petersburg, Russia. You can see here the link to their site. Next one, please. Next. Next one, please. Analysis of ink particle motion path was performed with the use of the obtained video films. A special software program, PolyVet SPB 2020, was developed for this purpose. The software is released under GPL General Public License. Tracing the particles was the main stage of processing. Now 16, please. 16. No, 16. Yes, thank you. Analysis of ink particle motion, primary processing for statistical analysis determined the center of the particles, numbered them, and calculated their precise coordinates. After that, tracking or tracing particle motion was performed. Crocker-Greer algorithm was used for tracking. 17, please. The software enabled to assess translatory and rotatory movement of ink particles of different sizes as selected by the researcher. For analysis, we use the following parameters. 18. Motion path of a single particle with its linear approximation. Next one. Motion path of all particles in a sample. Next one. Mean square displacement of particles. Next one, please. Particles displacement along X and Y axes. The results are the following. Next one. The study demonstrated significant difference in ink particle motion in dynamized solutions as compared to water. Next one, please. And we skip up to 27. 27, please. Assessment of dynamization by mathematical methods based on microscopic video files allows graphic demonstration of the difference in studied liquid with and without dynamization. This next one. This is 1000 dilution and water to compare the pictures. Next. This study convincingly demonstrates a significant difference of particles movement in homeopathic solutions and in ordinary water. To use the software, you need to satisfy some system requirements as to processor, RAM, and storage. Next one, please. For the conclusion, we can say that the developed method of assessment, the quality of homeopathic preparations allows to determine the activity and matching declared potency by using laboratory methods. Next one. PolyVet SPB 2020 software program is duly registered and released under International Free Software License, General Public License that guarantee end users the freedom to run, study, share, and modify the software. Any derivative work must be distributed under the same or equivalent license terms. And if you will use the software, you are kindly requested to mention the authors of the software. The method is useful for anyone working on the study of the identified processing options for dynamized substances and subsequent analysis of the data using the PolyVet SPB 2020 program. We are ready and happy to provide it free of charge upon request. And please send your request to the email address indicated in this slide. This is our gift to homeopathy. This is our conscious choice. And we are looking forward to further exploration of this wonderful method. Thank you for your attention. And thank you for your assistance.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tatiana. I think we also would like to appreciate everybody for their patience, and also you for having such immense, patience for carrying out this presentation. I will not take much time. I'll quickly move to the chair. If we have any questions for Dr. Tatiana, please. As we have already have paucity of time, either we can take only one or none. All right. Dr. Renu?
2-3 questions are there in QA section. So
All
do we
right.
have time?
Ma'am, actually, we don't have time, but maybe we can take one question for sure. And Dr. Tatiana can be brief while answering that.
I'll be glad to answer all your questions, all your possible questions in the chat. So don't hesitate to. And if you write me in using the email address that I indicated in my presentation.
Спасибо вам большое за помощь.
Thank you for your assistance. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So, Dr. Renu, I think that was our last presentation for this session. Yes, and we shall be moving to our next session. In meanwhile, the link is the same, and we shall be here. Thank you, everyone. Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Dr. Vladimir is there.
Dr. Vladimir, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
Oh,
yes, sir.
I was searching you to just say thanks for chairing this session. That's why.
Thank you very much, but unfortunately, I do not have too much time, and I'll have now to leave for some time.
Yes, thank you so much.
Perfectly fine. So I think, see, this is the beauty of our conference, of our colloquium, that people from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, they are coming here. We are all meeting. And I think this is a wonderful initiative. On behalf of LMHI Global Colloquium 2021,
sorry for interruption. We need to take a group photo actually, so I request everybody to
yes, please, quickly before we leave to our next session. Our AV team shall click a beautiful snapshot, the screenshot. I request everybody to kindly switch on their cameras.
Everybody please switch on the camera.
Sure.
Yes, we can see beautiful faces on the screen now. And AV team, please give us a cue. Let us know when to smile, though everybody is smiling. Right.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. We shall move to our next session now. It was really nice to have you all with us.